All right, welcome back, everyone. I've got a good one for you today. What I have in front of me here may look like a bunch of garbage, but to me, it is a 2019 Gaggia Classic just waiting to be put back together, put back into good use, and sold to somebody who can really appreciate its value. I bought this on eBay. I have no idea why the seller tore it down literally to the smallest possible pieces, but this is what I've got, so we're going to work with it. Now, although this may look like a whole bunch of parts, check out this video where I pull apart a DeLonghi La Specialista and check out how many parts that was. There was no way that I would be able to put that back together, but this guy really shouldn't be a problem. I do have a wiring diagram I'm going to be consulting. I believe I have every part that I need, except I'm probably missing a few pieces. I won't know what I'm missing until I put the thing back together. My master plan here is to actually build the machine, put it together outside of the case so I can kind of see if it's working first, make sure everything's functional. And at that point, I'll put it back into its case, test it, make sure everything's absolutely perfect. So we're going to see if we can't fix this Gaggia up to be not just as good as new, but better than new. All right, let's dig in. Yeah, check out this boiler. This is the worst one I've seen. There's just a lot of crud in here, and this area here, the seal looks pretty gunked up. And on the boiler side, the water here has some kind of a white gelatinous material in it. I really don't know what that could be, actually. But whatever it is, it's going to need a deep cleaning. So I'm going to take the inlet valve here off and the solenoid as well. And I'm just going to take everything to pieces and make sure I can get it as clean as possible. Everything here is just very full of scale. You can see all the connections have scale, and the main boiler O-ring is pretty flattened out and covered in kind of crud and scale. So I think the issue really here was just very, very hard water. And this is a stock O-ring. You can see it's basically completely stuck, and it's also lost its elasticity, which this is why I swap everything out for Viton, which is much more durable, especially at high temperature. And this steam valve is really stuck to this boiler. Let's just take a quick look on the inside, and yeah, it's bound up with scale there. All right, that was pretty stiff, but now that I got this wand off, check this out. This is just crud coming from inside the steam wand. So my theory here is that what happened is that obviously this machine just slowly lost pressure, kind of died slowly, and then just finally gave up. There's no way any steam was coming out of this thing. But funnily enough, the group head is just super clean and nice. So obviously whoever's using this was backwashing it regularly. So it just shows you that things that can look clean on the outside can be dirty on the inside. This is probably the original group head gasket. I'm going to swap it out for silicone gasket. Those handle heat cycles better than these rubber ones. These rubber ones tend to just get brittle over time, and then they get very difficult to get out. So okay, and it's time to let this stuff sit in descaling solution for 24 hours or so. And while I'm doing that, the group head parts will be soaked with some kefitsa, which is a very basic medium, and it turns the oil fats into soap. Whenever a boiler is like that, I have to take everything apart. So I'm going to start with the solenoid here, and you'll see it's really super scaled. So I got to soak that as well in descaling, and we can see it bubbling away here. So one piece that's definitely missing is this metallic crimp that they use on the high pressure hose between the pump and the group head. So I'm just going to measure it up so I can order a fuel injector type clip to replace it. Okay, so all the pieces are ready. So I'm going to put the thing, or attempt to put the thing, back together. All right, moment of truth. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's all wired correctly. I've double checked it now. I've got some gloves on to protect me just in case there's any kind of current. So fingers crossed, everything's gonna go well. So let's give it a try and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna get the thermal camera ready on this guy for when we plug it in. So that's gonna be the first thing you see here, and then we'll make sure everything's looking good. Nothing's getting too hot. I'm gonna elevate the boiler so that it doesn't burn the mat. We're gonna set that up and then we're gonna turn it on. So I thought I maybe had miswired something because as soon as I flicked the switch, the pump went on. But the pump button was in the on position. That's all it was. So hopefully everything's fine. Let's give it another whirl. Yeah, so switch it on here and thermals are looking good. So far we're at about 40 degrees Celsius at the max. And we're getting close to the high for the steam, which should be in the 160s somewhere. And it's looking here at around 162, 163, 164 maybe, but it's definitely stabilized. It's not really going up. 157 here, 160. Yeah, so that's looking good. Like the steam valve kicked in and shut everything off, and it's going back down, which is great. All right, I'm not sure why I'm so impressed that that went off without a hitch. So, but it looks to me like, except for that little clamp that holds the hose on for the water pump to get into the boiler, we have pretty much a complete machine here, which is awesome. That's a 2019 Gaggia. You know that boiler, obviously not in perfect condition. So next job is to have a look, just brush out some of the scale in there and then scrape off some of the crud and give it a good lapping. And then I think it'll be like ready to put together. Of course, the tank is broken. So I need a new tank, but other than that, this is looking really good. I'm super excited. All right. And now for the sounds of boiler cleaning. And we're back. And I think that this is about as good as it's going to get. I'm just going to finish it up on some 400 grit and get it nice and shiny. And the case is in really great shape, but it has a few superficial stains which will come right out with a little bit of Barkeep's Friend. And I'm going to stabilize a couple spots with phosphoric acid. If you do have a Gaggia, this is the spot that you need to make sure stays dry. It's right at the edge of the water tank, at the front edge there, so you should take it out and wash it. Make sure it's clean and dry. And I'll leave you with the dulcet tones of putting a Gaggia back together. Enjoy. So the 6.5 bar shot, that's the first time I've tried it, and it's definitely interesting. I'm not sure if I'm a fan yet, but it was certainly interesting. But the bigger issue was that while I was steaming the milk, I noticed that there was a huge amount of steam coming from a joint somewhere here. And so I'm going to be pulling that apart, putting in a seal there, or a new seal, and putting it back together, and then I'll adjust it to 9 bar. So when I list it, I'm going to list it as a 9 bar tune with 6.5 bar tune optional. So that'll give the buyer a little choice in the matter. All right, so I'm going to go pull apart that steam wand, fix it, and then change out that spring, and let's see how it looks. Another great shot. I'll leave you with a little bit of cappuccino steaming now that I've fixed the steam wand. Okay, so this 2020 Gaggia came in as a bag of parts. All it needed was I changed out the brew thermostat, which had a little wonky terminal. I changed out the C14 plug in the back, which turns out to be very easy to find. I needed a new hose clamp. I used a fuel injector style hose clamp, so it has nice even pressure. And then it needed a new water tank, which was cracked when this one came in. And of course, the main issue with this machine and what really killed it for the previous owner was that buildup in the boiler that we saw, which was really, really bad. So I'm not really sure how it got that bad. He took good care of his brew head. Maybe his water was just very, very bad. I don't know. But he had a lot of junk in there. So we fixed that up. But anyway, this model is now listed on Facebook and it's waiting for its new owner. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Next video coming up is me fixing that cranberry red Breville Barista. Anyway, this machine turned out really great. I'm super happy with it, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Over and out. Another clean puck.